All right, let's try this again. I forgot that I unplugged my microphone the other day, so I apologize, guys. Hopefully, I'm going to check again that this stream is actually going. Let's see, let me refresh this thing. Connect streaming software and start preview. Oh, okay, good. People have sound. Excellent, excellent. Yeah, no, it was me. It was me. I needed. See, this week I travelled to Stockholm to see a Hans Zimmer live show, or rather, the world of Hans Zimmer. Hans Zimmer himself was not live. However, yeah, I've taken 2 days out of this week, and during that process, I needed to charge some USB items, and I happened to unplug my microphone and forgot to plug it back in. So let me start from the top. Hi, I'm Ben from Second Dynasty.
Hello, Ben.
That is Albin. He works here at Second Dynasty. We've been at this game for about 7 years. What is this game? We make 3D printable starships for tabletop gaming. And we have made a massive, massive database of like, well, not a database, but like we have something like 780 products on My Mini Factory. A good, maybe closer to 100 of those maybe hidden objects. Objects that we might hide would be the Kickstarter versions of products, for example. Now, My Mini Factory has introduced bundles, and you can actually get a bunch of bundles we put up at this point in time at a great discount. Although, if you want an even greater discount, in a few weeks we will be having our Black Friday sale. Well, Black Week, Black Month, I don't know. My Mini Factory's Black Friday sale. It kind of goes on a lot longer than just Black Friday. But we are having 50% off our store. That is not campaigns, that is not tribes, but that is the store. So anything that's been released for quite a while. All right. Now let me check the chat here. Let's see who we got. We got Clive, we got Solo Spirit, we got Kathy. Hey, Kathy. Shergel, of course, who might be listening to the Brothers of Metal's new album. I don't know. I've heard there is one, but I kind of forgot to check it out. So maybe we'll do that after the stream. We've got Doug. We've got Derivative Content. Tamsin, Alex. Dalton's here. Jaren. It's amazing how many people complain when there's no sound. So, all right, let's get back into the stream of things. So, what I was trying to say at the top of the show was, are you cheating there, Albin? Yes, you're cheating.
Yes.
I don't know. Well, should we show? I was going to show the. Yeah. All right. Let's just jump into it. So. Let me switch to my close-up camera because Albin is lurking.
Whoa, I'm in picture.
So this is not the turret.
Pew, pew, pew.
Give it to me. Bloody hell.
I did mess up the export of the rear part, so it doesn't have the proper turret ring connection. But yeah, I think the hole is there.
So this is what we're calling the. Here you go. The Imperial tank, which is from a piece of art from not the 5th Frontier War, but from the 3rd Imperium source book, which we're allowed to source from. It's the old school Traveller. Let's just be honest. That's what it is. Yeah, I don't feel bad about it. I have to be honest. It's looking good. I actually loaded Albin's scene here, so you can kind of see the 3D version. He made it look really kind of pretty. So obviously the turret we showed is not the final version there, but anyone who was missing that teardrop, more organic-y shaped grav tank from the 3rd Imperium, this was from our recent Kickstarter about the 5th Frontier War campaign. So it is licensed Traveller product and directly derivative from the Mongoose version of the 5th Frontier War. But yeah, we snuck this one in. Technically, the Traveller doesn't come out until the end of that campaign anyway. Dalton wants it printed at 15 mil. It should be fine at 15 mil.
Yeah.
It is a decent size, and I think Albin's done a good job. I'm not going to show off very much of this actually, just because we had to come up with a compromise, obviously. So it is really a mating between the old school Traveller that you can see here from, I believe it's Mega Traveller, and the modern Mongoose. I don't know what happened to the other half of that tank, but maybe it's hidden. This seems to be some kind of recovery file anyway, so I assume it was something that Albin was working on. There was a Maya crash, that sort of thing. And of course the artwork that is presented in the book, but there are a few tiny little additions that we snuck in here and there. For example, you can see that the RCS in the old school design has been implemented into this version. So
yeah, I looked at some old illustrations, and they seem to have, because I mean the ship is like atmospherically tight, airtight, so you can use it. Don't they just drop it from space or something?
Yeah. I mean, it can fly in space.
Yeah.
To answer your question, Tamsin, the question was, as the Traveller in Mega Traveller was based on the same hull as the Astron, can we get the old school Astron APC as well? The Astron we're making is going to be based on this platform. That was kind of the idea, to create something that can use both. Obviously, we're going to hybridize it like we did with this design, so there are elements of the more modern Traveller built into it. So it's kind of like Mongoose has been more open to us interpreting things and taking it in a slightly new direction. So I think obviously this was a stretch goal. It's not one of the primary tanks. And the Traveller technically we'd never tried to pitch because it came out later in the war.
I think in the newest release of the book, it's just a prototype yet.
Yeah, it's only a prototype, but it really comes out like in the last year of the war or something like that. So in any case, and things take time in the Third Imperium. Hopefully you guys like the fact that we could sort of make something slightly old school here. There's potentially other things we could do in the future with that hull in particular. Obviously is the Traveller. Not the Traveller, the Astron. So yeah. The Astron that's in the Third Imperium book is quite rough, and we've found that Mongoose are quite okay with us taking a few liberties with the design. So we want to fit this to the lore where the base of the APC is essentially the same base as the the Traveller. So yeah, there are a few compromises, like you can see here that the more rounded front is closer to the image that's in the Third Imperium book. This thing looks a little bit more Star Wars-y. So yeah, that's where we're at with that, but not what we're going to focus on today.
No.
Now, what we are going to focus on today, I'm going to go back to where I was just a second ago with the... I'll load that in the background. So we have been building these catalogues. I've shown it off last week, and the main thing I wanted to show off last week was our turrets, whilst I also worked on the tlattle. I think that was last week. I don't know. It feels like everything's blending together. And because it was a short week, I haven't gotten to too much modelling myself. Albin's been hard at work, as you can see. We also have our Tribes release. Is that up, Albin?
Yep, it's live.
So if I go into my mini factory here, is it live and attributed to the tribe, or just live?
It is attributed to the tribe.
Okay, so assuming you can actually load into my mini factory. Oh, that's why this isn't turning up. I had to search for turrets. Wait, what? Here it is. This is it. The Badger X46 Dozer, which also has a bunch of other attachments that you can see down the bottom there. Oh, I love the image compression they have on this site. So wonderful. they're selling products. Why can't we have something nicer? Alban did a fantastic job on this. Of course, if you're in our tribe, it's only a $5, not $12. Nice little model. Great different attachments that you can use for a range of science fiction yellow machinery. Although in this case, it's got blue accents. So yeah, I actually really like this design, and this is also one of the parts where I'm kind of like the proud dad, where Alban really sort of hits his stride and does some stuff that, you know, I don't think I could have done a better job with this. So.
Stop it, man.
Anyway.
Making a guy blush.
Check that out if you haven't. If you are a part of our tribe, you can find it just by going to tribes on the My Manufacturer website. I think we have a link in our description. On Kathy, have you still got your campaign on? Maybe we can do a shout out for your campaign. Let me see. Cadou. Yes, you've got 6 days left. So let's just, I don't have a proper link here, but let's just do a direct link in the chat and we'll check it out briefly. Where did it go? There we go. There is that Kickstarter to support. It's actually very reasonably priced and quite an awesome sort of Jedi style temple. Let's just have a quick squiz. So yeah, it'd be great if you guys can check out the campaign. There's some STLs for the terrain, as well as some miniatures with some sort of like great NPC type things, statues.
I really like that one with the beehive on its head.
the beehive on his head. Yeah, it does look really cool.
Yeah.
So there's some pilgrims and things. So these are ideal for like your Star Wars style NPCs. I can see them working with Dune as well, quite well. So yeah, check it out. There's a lot of content there for, what was it, £28? That's like $38. Maybe less than that actually, I'm not sure. I think the dollar's strong again. I'm seeing it in krona, so it's 385 crowns. So check it out and get in before it is too late. I'll leave that for now. And yeah, you can see our tribe here. We should be on the second page of Sci-fi there. Yep. So we've got some work to do to get on the top list. Wow. But yeah, there you go. Oh, the image has not changed. We need to change that one. But yeah, $5 each month. And yeah, so we still need a tribe's image to change out on the main page. And of course, if you haven't joined our tribe before, you also get the welcome package, which has got a bunch of stuff in it, like a starfighter, a complete cargo ship, a hangar, a couple of miniatures, hypersleep chamber. Yeah. So we do need to update that page, and that's not the final figure either. In a day or two, we should get an update. So anyway, enough about that. So I am in the process of assembling all of our stuff here. Yeah, basically in a similar manner to what we did with the turrets. And I have found a few more turrets since the last time as well. And I'm sure there'll be even more. I've started up files for Nernies and Greeblies, which are sort of like a... Anytime you see busy work on a model, like say the surface of a Star Destroyer, those are Nernies and Greeblies that people have made. And of course we need that kind of detail. So we've talked for a long time about getting the models together, because I mean, if you can imagine, if we have 780 products, we have thousands upon thousands of files. And objects in our scenes, obviously. Even in this scene with just this junk, we have 20 million polygons. Yeah. Well, no, I guess it's more like 10 million polygons if you want to go for quads or something. I don't know. Is a triangle a polygon?
Yeah.
I guess it is, yeah. So 20 million polygons. Faces, I guess, if you want. Reminds people asking for the Christmas globule last year. Well, we are working on a much larger ornamental ship. And this is a part of the inspiration. Like, I was trying to think, what am I going to do with the interior of that ship? At the same time, we've got Grid Forge coming up. I kind of want John to present that in a sense. Maybe next week, we'll see. My manufacturer were giving us a slot that was way too early, so we'll probably go in December. I know it's not a great month for people, but it is a much more modular, cross-compatible with OpenLock system where you can easily swap out the top of tiles. And it does use support eclipse for the most part, so you can get a lot more detail. I think it's a really nice system that John's come up with. He did run us through a game too that he made to go with it.
It was fun.
Yeah. So that's awesome. But yeah, I just I've been assembling these parts, and most of these parts are from just the scene I had with the Typhon and Erebus. Oh, news on the Typhon. See, the 0.99 version has been released, but it is without instructions. Now, the thing is, John was on a holiday between when he returned to America and this Monday. So he is in the process of converting it to 3DO, and we need it in 3DO before we can output our instructions, or else we would have to do it one by one. So it'll be assembled in 3DO, and then Lieselot will make instructions from still images. That is a lengthier process. It's quite a large ship, so I don't expect that to be available until next week. And I don't know if the instructions will be next week or the week after. We'll see, because Lieselot does only work part-time. But we'll see what we can achieve. So most of these models are just from that scene that I've cut up and pasted, and then I did just import some Odyssey parts as well. So I'm kind of in the process of grabbing models from different areas, trying to think about what I might use inside of the new sort of like ball ship that we're going to have for December. Let's see. Gridforge might be the solution for Xanthi floor plan. Yeah, it could be. I mean, in a different scale. I don't know how well support eclipse work in 15 mil, because they are quite a lot smaller.
I seem to remember them working kind of nice, actually.
Albin claims they work.
I think we had it, when we had the Traveller 2, the small craft, the 270 mil versions.
Yeah, but wasn't that using actual support eclipse, not scaled down support
Oh,
eclipse?
sorry, support eclipse. I thought you were talking about. Oh.
No, OpenLock works fine.
Sorry.
Yeah, no. Shadow Liger says second Dynasty 3D models prints, and it's all healthier to back them than to home base the devil's dandruff. It's certainly been enjoyable for the last 7 years. Yeah, you are one of our original old school backers. Gridforge works really nicely, even if my proofs threw out a tiny bit when test printing really long sections. And ABS like resin, they work. The support eclipse?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay, well, nice.
That's cool.
Have you got that all working now, Dalton? Keep a good distraction. So yeah, I've opened up my Cerberus. This is the one that I was partially midway through updating. And I think I did put out some support areas. I think you can see the new parts of the lighter color. But the reason being that I want to basically Greyhawk the model. Sorry. Are people familiar with the term Greyhawking?
I never heard of it.
No, okay. Well, there was this back in the noughties, the 2000s. I did a lot of live, Living Greyhawk. So Greyhawk was the sort of Gary Gygax D&D default world up until I think 4th edition. Switched it to Forgotten Realms. It might have been 5th edition. But in any case, it was a reference to looting. So let's Greyhawk the place, which basically let's just steal anything that's not nailed down and sell it. So basically what I'm saying is I'm stealing from this Maya scene, and I'm looking for parts that I can import into this scene that I just had up. So I feel like we have a lot more power plants than are shown here. Some of these that's actually a computer and shield generator there. So I'm trying to sort these things. You know, in HVAC and waste, we're going to have like your toilets, your showers, your plumbing. We have some objects in here. And, you know, we'll have a collection of doors. We've got airlocks, ladder wells. The idea being that we have a place that in our own team, we can seek out these items and, you know, get them published and put out. And eventually maybe even like, obviously these computers here for the Typhon are very specifically made to fit the Typhon. But we might do a sort of like wider release version that is sort of like standalone. So it's a place to farm for models when we're making something new. So we don't have to start from scratch. Because if we started from scratch every time, we'd still be like in Starship 4 at this point in time. The early D&D really emphasized looting overall. Yeah, well, I believe it. You got XP by exchanging treasure or something like that, didn't you? You never used a setting in D&D other than Greyhawk. So I'm going to assume you haven't played for a good while, Dalton. And now we know why Greyhawk seemed to not get a lot of love. I mean, Greyhawk's alright. Living Greyhawk was a fun time, but let's just say Organised play was very frustrating because it felt like all the rules were set up for a particular kind of gamer that I would imagine is a bit more prevalent in America. That just wanted to, you know, abuse things. And, you know, the kind of person that's like, well, technically the rule says this, so you can have, was it Mip or whatever, the kobold that can do 1 million damage or something in one round. I can't remember. There was all kinds of shenanigans going on. And the Living Greyhawk organizers kind of just took to it with a shillelagh. Anyway, this is not a Dungeons and Dragons stream, so let's move on and see what we can pinch from this scene. And that's funny, I never took these turrets out, but they're not really conventional turrets. Could be kind of interesting to do a version of this ring that fits into a turret ring. But, yeah, I don't know. Anyway, so there's also a question here. Obviously, we already have this bed. We do have our modernized crow pods and that sort of thing. I don't know that we'd go back to the older style because these ones can fit a miniature in it. The other ones were just set decoration. We do have even smaller pods for Traveller, but at the moment I'm not making a Traveller one. I'm just trying to make it a second Dynasty one. Oops, that should be on deck 3. And so should that. So the main thing I'm interested in here is this engine. And there are a lot of other... You can see here we don't have the shaders on. There's been a very lengthy process of converting from old style shaders to new style shaders. And it's just one of those really annoying things. So some of this will be... I don't know that we'll put in absolutely everything. I do have a scene for our much older, like... Actually, I could just save this and load that up real quick. So, if I save this and then go, let's see, we want Starship Legacy. So, for example, this is just Starship 1 and 2. Like all of this. We did a lot of tiles. Some of these things I feel like I haven't seen them in years. Like we did, I think it was a commission to have these more sort of like more like Warhammer style control panels. This very specific sort of flyer design. I think this one was inspired by a board game. We had some interior pieces that were damaged that were meant to be for, oh god, was it something alpha, some kind of sci-fi D&D. I can't remember what it was called exactly. So we did originally do some damaged tiles. They kind of look horrible. Which is why I think like misprints and just damaging existing tiles often look a lot better. But you can kind of see where we started out here. Look, we had some Star Trek style teleporters. See, here we have some of the early machinery that we had, and this was really where I was coming at it from the mongoose angle, because if you look at the 3D designs, they're very much inspired by those isometric deck plan machineries. That is a little bit embarrassingly close to what's in the books originally. And you can kind of see the old rooms and things, and these obviously are updates that we've imported in, but you can see from the resolution, look at that mesh. There's not very much detail going on, and so it's like the illusion of a lot of great models. And then the Starship 2 ones, look at this thing. This is our old power loader. It kind of reminds me a little bit more of like, I guess the Pandoran power armor that, well, not Pandoran, but like the armor used on Pandora in Avatar. We have this sort of like missile, which is definitely like heavily inspired, if not mostly ripped off from I think Macross Plus or something like that. I don't know. And these older tiles, so they're definitely. I was young and dumber than I am today. But some of these ones, like, we've never done an equivalent model to this. And it's sort of like an MRI style piece of machinery and that sort of thing. So I kind of like the idea of importing over some of these models, which do look like they still would be useful. Oh, it looks like we've got 2 models there. Let's move this. Oh, we do. We've got several. So, and you can see here... Oh no, that's just ugly. You can see like the built-in supports on most of these open lock clip items. So my idea is to sort of go back and raid some of these older items, like the security pack with the security doors, and even just having like the little cell bars and that sort of thing for a few door variations, things we haven't used for ages. Now there are good reasons for this, pop-up turrets. Mostly that being that, you know, the models aren't up to a modern standard, like our old holographic table. These still look great when printed, I feel, but the meshes are not always ideal. Like, I just didn't really know what I was doing at the time. I think it was before I even like started seriously using vertex snaps and moving the pivot points and using the scale tool. These ones, I kind of like the way that they looked. But
I'm curious, do you get nostalgic when you...
Yes, yes I do. And it just, it is a nostalgic thing, definitely, to see how far we've come and how much work I've done. And I think this is like several interns have been in this scene too and like tried to change the bases. So I think we made it so that the bases are separate. Yeah, so they're not integrated. So we could fairly easily swap out the bottoms. Probably give this scene to John so he could make some easy conversions to GridForge.
They were talking a bit about GridForge here in the shop, actually.
That's great. That's great. That's great. There's going to be a lot more on it in the coming weeks because we're going to do our Frontier before the end of the year. where we'll have a bunch of different tiles and things. But yeah, like you can see what's going on here. So my point is, I just want to show off like where we've come from. Like this hanger still looks fantastic when you print it out. If I could change anything about it, would mostly be to take out the built-in OpenLock supports and maybe make it work in a different direction. These are Macross-inspired machines. See, that would look really cool in our sort of machinery section, but if you look at the... Ooh.
Oh,
I didn't realize this, but I have a version here that
they're separate.
doesn't have all the booleans.
That's nice.
Yeah. And even... Is that... No, that's integrated. These are probably booleaned up.
I thought you were going to say, is that a Benjamin?
No. This was pre-Benjaminin.
Yeah.
By a long shot. But yeah, it's kind of nice to see. So yeah, it's just like you say, Albin. There's some nostalgia's coming out. Obviously, I think what we do today is far more sophisticated. It prints a lot better. Like these floor patterns didn't print very well, and I wasn't taking into consideration things like layer heights, which we do now a lot more. So the question is, what of these things might belong in our scene? Some of these are still pretty cool. Like it's, oh, this is booleaned to high heaven, but you know, there are things that we could do today that are a lot better than they were then. So maybe there is a scene somewhere before I've put all of this together, but I mean, here too, you'd need supports underneath. There's different sections. You know, these are the overhangs. Like, they're not as well designed, you might say. But it would be cool to kind of like revisit some of these designs in the future. And that's kind of like today. I'm kind of like identifying some things that I want to bring into here. But the main thing I wanted to bring in was some like generator style things, and I just had this nagging feeling. This nagging feeling, which is frustrating because it's definitely not in this scene. But where were let's see, this is Starship 1. So we should have machinery in here. Yeah, there we go. So you can kind of see here, this is a perfect example. This is the 2017 version of this model. And this is like the 2020 version. Look at the difference
Jesus.
in detail. Like there's little notches and things. Like it's not perfect, but like you can really see how far we've come. So yeah, like obviously all of the old stuff, Dalton, is specifically for deck plans essentially, and a lot of this still is. You can still use it, customized. I guess the other stuff is a little bit more generic. Whereas we tend to make things today that fit together. So what I'm really looking for, like I could swear I have also done a similar update on this thing. I thought it was in Starship The Next Generation, but now I can't find it. And maybe we can just look in one or two things there to double check. But so today is mostly just a shoot the breeze sort of session, I guess. Hanging out with you guys, having a look around, organizing things. It seems like it's busy work, but it actually, in the long run, ends up saving us a lot of time.
Yeah, I mean, this is something that we do every single time we do anything in Maya. We look through what we made before and try to reuse what we have made previously. And if you can find it easily, that's going to save a lot of time.
Yeah. So this is incredibly true. And the other thing too is like, I mean, even this scene was kind of designed that someone like Alvin could go in and have a look at what we already have with it all being in one scene. But they like just end up being absolutely massive as well. So it's better to sort it out. Like how many different generator type models do we have? Probably 6 or 7 different kinds. So let's see, this is Starship The Next Generation. See, again, I can see the source. This is when we did Maybe this was 2021. I can't remember exactly when. But here's the, updated generator. So I'm wondering if there's somewhere in this scene where it's hidden. I don't know. I just can't remember. Oh, look, this is an indication. This is part of the jump drive from the Type S that I must have imported at some point. So the question is, are there a bunch of hidden files here? Let's see. Workshop. There. Let's see. Is there anything popping up? I'm seeing... Look at this little guy. I did that as like... there's an animation for the this is one of Papsicle's xenomorph type models, and it's so tiny. Look at the size of it compared to the other ones. And the thing was, I wanted it to just cast a shadow, and it was way too like the shadow was, you couldn't identify what it was. So I ended up scaling it right down so that the shadow would turn up and actually look like it was supposed to. Yeah, that's how we fake things in 3D. I'm really not seeing anything. I should have left that scene open so we could see what the name was. Oh, that would have been a good idea. And then maybe there's some hidden meshes here. Catalogue update models. Core set engineering. Where is this one? Okay, these are hidden on a layer somewhere, but I'm not sure which layer it is. Ye oldie tiles. Oh, nonsense. It's just the floor. It's just a sketch of the old cannonball chamber. Let's see. Yeah, Starship 1 engineering tiles 2. These could be it as well. But I'm guessing it's just the floor tiles. Yeah, boo. I think it was called machinery. Group 105 is popping up machinery. Pasted machinery expansion. And what have we got? It's the everything but. Okay, so yeah, all right. Blasted as a question. Is this cataloging going to come with a new naming convention system going forward so you can more easily group items, a small designation for part type? Yes and no. It will be internal. Nothing you guys will see, and we have no intention of like going through all our existing models and updating them. It's just, this is a compromise. Moving forward, we want to do things better, but yeah, I can't find anything in here, so let's go back to the old scene that we just had and grab a few things so I can actually show you guys how I'm working at the moment. That first generation cargo lifter with a giant open top, you could fit a Benjamin and head in there, make the power armor. Actually, yeah, you probably could. Alright, so I just want this. It looks like it's a simple shader. It's called machinery, so that was the right kind of search to use. In this case, there's not much going on with the model. The shader on it should just be standard surface. So if I just copy this, I should be able to paste it over just by going edit and paste. And if I focus on it, we can see where it is there and move it on to our sort of machinery area. Alright, so we've got it over there. The main purpose of bringing it in is because I want to make an update. God, I feel like I've made this. And I'm wondering where it is. I could probably like zoom into one of these things and it's like scaled down to be really tiny or something, but it's driving me nuts. Anyway, we have the base version there. I don't think there's anything else we want to grab unless... yeah, I think I just redo most of this because it's so simple. Like you can see here too, here's our old servers, really simple geometric objects. The updated version is here. You know, just a lot more detail popping in. I'm proud of like how far we've come because it really does look so much better. All right, let's go back to the Cerberus. Let's see. Here's an idea for John, who isn't here. A Benjamin and VDM brush for Blender. You mean so basically a stamp? Oh,
Stamp of approval.
yeah. I'm not that familiar with Blender, other than I think I've opened it once in my life, but the principles certainly exist in other systems. So I want these ones, and I want the hyperdrive. And I'm gonna what?
Damsin just wrote no.
We got this computer thing too that looks not great, but like this, it's updated a little bit maybe. If nothing else, it looks like I put some shaders on it. So I'm just trying to isolate the models we want in that scene. I love that World War II style turret. It's great. It's so cool. Anyway, let's see if there's anything on deck 3 that we need to pilfer. I don't think so. Nope. Does not look like it. So, we have these objects. Now, what I'm actually going to do is invert the selection and actually delete everything else. That, what? It feels like the hyperdrive disappeared there.
Did you?
How did that get selected? It's not deselecting. So, where are you? You're in a group. Let's remove you from the group. And we don't need deck 3 on. I might grab that just in case. Oh, that machinery there. I don't think we have these workshops imported. And that computer was the other one. And one of these. I think that's mostly it. I keep getting ideas all the time. Like I could swear I had like some kind of droid recharging station.
Mm-hmm.
Like I had this imported R2D2 to show the droid door we had. But I think it's just one of those things that we got towards the end of something, and we just ran out of time. That happens most of the time. We just run out of production time. Okay, so I think I have all my models again. Let's try that inversion again and hope that... we're missing more models. So we need that one, and that one to come out of that group, because I think it's based on it being nested in a group that it's mucking up. So basically I'm just going to be preparing these to be cleaned. And by cleaned, I mean now our scene only should have, like, we're going to delete all of our layers. So let's delete these, layers, delete, selected layers. We're going to delete all our sets. There's some hidden models here that we need to get rid of. So this forward turret, for example, this thing here. So technically we should see on the side here just the selected items, and we're going to go File, Optimize Scene Size. And what we're doing is we're deleting all textures, all nodes, everything that's not related to this. We'll also delete the history and run it again. And we're being very careful not to save at this point. So if I go into my if I go into my shaders, I can also see all of these ones are supposedly in use, but I can see from these darkened shaders that we have some issues. Like I've noticed the rounded corners, for example. Rounded corners there, we want to take these away. So we're just cleaning up stuff in Maya, and that should mean that some of these shaders actually should look grey again. I don't know why that one didn't come good. Red shift options need to be deleted. Let's see what these ones are. There's all these polyunites and things, and I don't understand where this history is coming from if there's no geometry that has any history left. So we can probably delete all of these. We can delete those. Polyunites and merges. Want to make sure too that our geometry is not disappearing underneath, because that would indicate that there's something we've missed out on. Also, I don't want to bring this whole object in. Like, I only want to bring what is necessary here, and I've just realized that we have a better model than this in the delta. The delta, maybe.
That's why it's good to have a catalog as well.
Shh.
I mean, it's like you get an overview of improved models.
True. Yes. Yes. For sure. These aren't perfect. Let's see. I think we need an Event Horizon game module can be setting agnostic, where the player explores a ship that the warp system malfunctions and turns into crew of Benjamins. Where you're going, you don't need eyes, because Benjamin has eaten them. Yeah, there's some scripts and things in here that we just don't need. Just trying to bring this back to the defaults. Now, this is something that, unless you actually... I don't know what all of these things are, if I'm being perfectly honest. But I know, like, for example, a denoiser here, that's related to when we render. Since this is just a model, we don't need that in there. It'll carry over some options and that sort of thing. I think the best thing to here is probably to name these items. So this would be a 3D printer. Oh wait, Maya, you cannot start with a number. So machinery, 3D printer. This one is workshop bench. This even says pasted Delta 2300 interior. So this is a weapons locker. Wall, II, weapons locker, closed. This one is our sort of just call it computer console. These are not the final names either. I'm trying to fine tune it, I guess. And this one will just put power plant. So most of these nodes are actually completely hidden and won't be visible. They're called, I mean, normally we just show the DAG object, so you only see these 6 essentially. The idea is that I bake this scene down to as small as possible. The pivot points will probably be messed up. Not too worried about that, but I'm just going to go File and then Save Scene As. Not saving over the top. And make sure I'm back in our resources scene, and I'm just going to call this temp Cerberus. And then what we do is I'm going to look through the shaders, and I suspect some of these look wrong, mostly because of the fact that they I don't think we have, yeah, it's got like a different shader on it, I think. Anyway, if I go File, sorry, no, I don't need to do that. I go back to here, let's save our scene, because I know sometimes there are issues, and some of it requires a bit of troubleshooting. So if I now go File, double check that there's no display layers or any other nonsense. File, Import, and I want to go to temp Cerberus there. So if I go Import, it should have brought in those models. I know that they'll be, yeah, here they are, a bit off to the side. And it looks like for the most part, they look like they did when I imported them. So I can now start separating these off into our particular different groups. Now, our turrets I separated into which Kickstarter it's from and that sort of thing. And part of that is because of the fact that for turrets in particular, you might be looking for the STL files. You might be able to say that of anything here, but I think it's kind of a pointless endeavor after a certain point. Turrets make sense, they're quite easy to identify. But for machinery and other things, not so much. Like I might have named them something completely different otherwise. So let's see, I think we've got a storage section we're working on over here. So yeah, this is just something I do when I, for example, have a shorter day or just have some hours that I need to fill. And before I'm completely finished, I'll probably, for example, you can just see this is only got very basic shaders. You can see the geometry is horrible. It's also triangulated. So that does make selection difficult. And I'm gonna guess that if I try to make this into quads, was it the right button? Yeah, you can see that there's some problems that come up. It's quite kind of frustrating. If there was one thing to sort of train AI on in Maya, it would be for tool shortcuts, for example, to say, okay, I want, like in the human eye, I can say I want these triangles turned into a quad there. I want that to be a quad. I want that to be a quad. Maya is too dumb with its scripts to understand. So when I do a quad, it's like, oh no, you wanted a quad between there and there, right? Like, I think you could train an AI to understand that, no, you want it to look more like a rectangle, not like whatever the hell that shape was, more like a triangle. And you'd think it would be easy, but no. Let's see, edit mesh. I don't think there's even, quadrangulate does have some angle thresholds there, so maybe we can just, I wonder if we can just change this to like 170 and that would make the difference. Nope. I have no idea what I'm doing here. I'm just going to test out a few things. Edit.
I think I got good results when I unchecked everything except the world space coordinates.
It doesn't address it.
Does that?
Nope. So I'm just going to see if there's any angles at work. I don't think so. I would suspect that the lower you get your angles down to, like, let's just put this at 30.
You know what? It's probably the direction of the triangle.
Yeah, it is based on the direction of the triangle.
Yeah.
But, like, I think visually you could train an AI to understand that, no, these are meant to be quads.
Exactly.
Is my point. So I'm not going to go through and try and change that. What I'm going to do is play with selections here to select the areas that I think around this that should be metal. Wait, what's going on? Is my keyboard's on Swedish? Why isn't the selection growing? That's odd. Okay. Huh? Is this a separate object? It is. I don't know why. Oh, because I cut it ages ago when I was doing the first operation. I tried something else and it was the cutout tool. Oh, this doesn't feel good. The undo procedure is what I would vote most likely to cause a Maya crash.
Oh, yeah. That's some scary stuff. Especially when you do booleans and stuff like that.
That's all one object now. Alright, so I need to go back to... Wait. Oh, I deleted those faces. Okay, there we go. There we go. Alright. So, let's try the selection again. I'm trying to grow this to get all the way around to the metal part there. You can kind of see it's not ideal. Hard to see, but I can isolate there and see that there's a few parts that's not coming through. And the slow and painful way is to just deselect in the areas that you know are not supposed to be there. And one of the reasons why I'm doing this at this stage, even though it's a real pain in the butt, is because we want it to look good moving forward. So let's just assign a AI metal shader to it. So you see it's got a bit of shiny in it. And technically we should be able to get some of these curves in the mesh, like see how that's an issue there. We can go to mesh display, soften and harden edges there, and let's switch this angle to 25.
Oh, T1000 I was thinking.
What?
Metal AI shader.
Okay. Alright. Yeah, okay, yes. I think I see where you're coming from.
Yeah.
Areas like this just need some mapping on them. Let's see, this should be an X, no? It's a Z map. I don't know why, but I have started pronouncing Z as Z. I blame ZBrush. Like, it sounds weird if you say ZBrush.
Mm.
This needs a different kind of glow. Let's go with the glow circle and do it again with the... Actually, let's go... green glow. And then mapping and then Z. There we go. That looks better. So let's try the same thing here. And this is all just busy work. Like, it can be so incredibly boring, but it does make your renders and models look a lot better. In this case, it's easier to sort of select the areas you want selected first. Look at this model nonsense going on here. This is some kind of leftover Boolean operation. Back from a time where we didn't know what was up and what was down. Yeah, let's see. Like, the models look good, but there's some issues with just small details. Let's say I want this to be green glow again, and we go map, and this should also be a Z. There we go. So even just lifting those screens up can make a bit of a difference on how this thing looks. Alright, is Shadow Lager still around? What color should the industrial 3D printer be? I know you've gotten to play with some expensive machines. Bye, Dalton. Oh, I guess it's almost 4 o'clock anyway.
Ooh.
Time flies when you're having fun.
Time flies and time lords.
What? Gotta love Alvin, he just says random stuff.
I've been getting a lot of Doctor Who references in my YouTube shorts.
Okay. Do you actually know the references?
Not all of it. I used to watch it a few years ago. So like slightly aware of like weeping angels and Daleks and stuff like that.
When you said Daleks, this isn't meant as an insult whatsoever, it's endearing. But I think the way you said Daleks reminded me of one of the characters from What We Do in the Shadows pronouncing it.
Oh.
The Nandor, the relentless.
Oh, okay.
I relent. I don't relent. Just Daleks.
Do they actually talk about Daleks?
No, they don't.
It could have been him.
If they did, they would be watching like the Doctor Who from the 60s and thinking it's modern.
Yeah. Never seen
It's
that,
amazing
though.
what they can do these days.
should really watch that movie.
Oh, there's a new season of What We Do in the Shadows too. Let's make that yellow. Let's see. I don't see that. Like is probably busy working. Orange and black for an industrial one. So yeah, we can make this thing orange. Just to make it pop a little bit. And I usually just select a few polygons to start. I realize we're going over the time now, but whoa, that is like some, I don't know. I wanted to say Mountain Dew orange, but it's not orange. It's like Fanta orange or something. Maybe we have something a little. That's the dark orange. Not seeing any other oranges. Let's just go with it for now. Hell, it's sci-fi. So yeah, just coloring things like this, like it's completely tedious. Oh, look at all these lovely engons. Oh, there's so many. Oh, this is disgusting. Oh, I'm gagging. Oh. Oh, ugh. And the thing is too, this kind of work, I get so much deja vu. I feel like I've done all of these models at least once before. I just can't find where I've put them, which again is an argument for this whole system we're creating. I mean, we can get petty and get down in it. Look at these engons. That's not right. This has gone awry. So there is some recreation that we'll need to do. But it's also a case of like, well, do we fix this model or do we just model a newer version? And honestly, I don't always know the answer. I'm not that knowledgeable about what future Ben wants to do. He continues to surprise me. Oh, who's excited for a weekend?
That sounds spliffing great. Is that even a way you can say that?
It does. Kathy, I also grew up on Tom Baker. He is my second favorite Doctor. I have to admit that feels like blasphemy, but Tennant did it for me. Just every time I see his original final sequence, I can't help but tear up. Just that I don't want to go. I'm just I can't even think about it. So I was very happy when he came back. But Tom Baker is just so fun, and he just an absolutely bonkers character.
Oh.
Like, there's just a part of me that wants to offer people jelly babies because of him.
Jelly babies.
Yeah, he'd be like in these really tense situations, go up to like the boss that's trying to execute them and just say, "Would you like a jelly baby?" and offer them candy.
That's mastermind in diplomacy.
Well, I don't know about that. It was just crazy, but the Doctor knows all kinds of stuff, obviously. Did I select any of these and will it affect anything? It doesn't look like. I don't understand how I didn't grab anything there. Wow. Oh, you love your scarves as well, yes. He's the one that's been like in The Simpsons with the long scarf and the afro, despite being a white bloke. With a delightful RP dialect.
Weekends equals week for me. I never know what day it is, says Kathy.
Oh, you mean because you work on the weekends?
Mm.
Yeah. Well, that sucks. So you prefer the rest of the week where you get to do... Actually, I wonder what... Maybe we should make this... Do a little trick where we can select just the polygons we want by process of elimination. There we go. We don't want those. And we don't want anything on the top there.
Who's the War Doctor?
The what? The War Doctor?
Yeah.
John Hurt. He didn't get a number because they want to forget him.
Oh, is he acting in a bad way, or is it a poor show?
He kind of committed genocide.
Ah, okay, so it's an interesting setup. But he acts...
Well, it's in I think the 50th special. No, 60th special. 50th. Must have been the 50th. Yeah, must have been the 50th. Like they had a tradition where they would get the past actors to come back. They're not supposed to be able to interact with each other for a long period of time, but so this was the last. I guess they had the 60th anniversary recently. When, although why didn't they get Smith back? Probably too expensive. But yeah, there is. Let me see. I'm just trying to think. What Workbench AI? This is the one I was looking for. Look at that! We've got a nice little platform area. So yeah, that looks a little bit more like a 3D printer now, I guess. War Doctor was just one episode. It was a special, for the 50th anniversary.
Okay.
And Tom Baker was in it, but he wasn't playing his Doctor, as far as we know. He was like a librarian type dude. Like the archivist or some shit, I can't remember.
Oh, this is almost like a cameo or something.
Yes, it's one of those moments where you're like, they brought Tom Baker back! And they actually made a really cool special with all the other Doctors that didn't get to be in the big one. About their actors trying to get into it. It was actually very funny. And also, the 10th Doctor married the 5th Doctor's daughter.
What?
No, like the actors.
Oh,
yeah.
Oh, okay. That sounds like...
Yeah, David Tennant married...
like in real life?
Yeah, in real life.
Oh,
but she did actually play in one episode like the Doctor's daughter or something, so there is a little bit of...
weird stuff going on.
Unintentional incest. Alright, we're going to leave it here, guys.
Great point to leave.
Yeah. Great time.
We see where this is
Has
going.
the American Doctor ever big... What do you mean the American Doctor?
Is it that Dr. House or...
Tom Baker did... Oh yeah, he did do... Yeah, okay, he did do a Romana as well, yes. Was that the dark-haired Romana or the light-haired Romana? The light-haired one was the second one, right?
Roman. I'm not familiar with that.
Yeah, House is British. Wait, what? Yes, he is. Yes, he is. He was in the young ones, which is incredibly different. To put in proper context, the Doctor's daughter, who played the Doctor's daughter on The Doctor, married the Doctor. As a result, the Doctor is now his own father-in-law. Yeah, she was a princess in an episode, and Romana regenerated to look like her. Right, okay. Rightio. There have been a number of actors that have just turned up, like, several times as different characters and no one mentioned it. Doctor Who is one of those series where if you're a British actor at one point in time, you've probably been on it.
It's almost like fan heter det? Diggiloo here in Sweden.
Paul McGann, yet another Doctor. He was the 8th Doctor. Only got one film. So yes, he is acknowledged as the 8th Doctor. But, I mean, he was... You mean the Americans tried to reboot Doctor Who, and that Paul McGann film was the one that he was in, yes, but how did this become about Doctor Who?
No clue. I think I got confused or something.
Yeah, alright. Other films, but yeah, they did do like 2 or 3 Doctor Who films with, I think, Peter Cushing. Yeah, there you go, Kathy. There you go. So, yeah. You may fire when ready. Yeah, just going crazy here. So let's leave it at that. We've got a cooler looking model so far. It'll take some more work to get it to the point where it looks fancy enough to sit with all the other ones. But yeah, hopefully this was interesting behind the scenes to see what we kind of do to keep an eye on what we've actually made, what we can reuse in the future. I like the idea of this 3D printer, but maybe it needs a modernized update. Make it look a bit fancier. I feel like we did some Beowulf 3D printers as well, so there's probably some other models from that one.
Yeah, I think so.
That's probably why I had this deja vu. Yeah, I've done the... Damn it! Alright. Okay. I gotta leave it here, guys. Thank you for joining me. It's great to see the chat really going at it today. Nice to see the conversations going on. I really enjoy hanging out with you guys, sharing a little bit about what we do. Hopefully everyone has a good idea about what we're working on at the moment. So we're still full blast on Traveller. I am doing some other prep for the tribes for December. And there's like 4 of us working at once on various different things. So we're not neglecting anything. Work is being done. And we're having a great time. All right, guys. Have a wonderful weekend and a wonderful week. And we will see you on Friday. Bye, guys.